Hey guys, and welcome back. Today I'm here to do a quick catch up. I want to briefly discuss Faceless YouTubing and some of my ideas, and then of course I'm going to share my monthly favourites for the month of August. Now, in honesty, August was a bit of a mixed month. I'm a Leo, so there was kind of a hell yeah, it's my birthday. And anyone who has regular contact with me will know that I was a little bit excited and possibly mentioned my birthday a few times. However, that was coupled with some family news that we're processing that is rather more shitty. So there's been stress, tears, joy, fun, you name it, the whole human experience was in there. I don't want to talk about the private matters and go into things like that, so instead I'll say that this month I turned 30. And I turned 30 in Greece, in Rhodes, on holiday, on a fabulous holiday with my wonderful partner, and we had such a blissful experience from beginning to end, minus the journey back. As well as that, Zuri, our cat, who most of you know fondly now, she had a different cat sitter this time who we really carefully selected and interrogated, and unfortunately it didn't go well still. So the end of the month, when we came back, it was a real quick jump back into the realities of various different things. And we had to go to the vets, a real mixture. And I've really had to ground myself in the memory that just because there's shit going on, it doesn't mean that there's not good stuff. And to be grateful for the good stuff and to remember the holiday and all of those kind of different things that we do when we've got a lot going on. So all in all, I did not get a lot of time for cards, to be honest with you. I closed my website for readings throughout August and it is now open again. But not having a lot of time for cards didn't matter to me. That's just how it rolls sometimes, and some months are different to others. I do, however, have some awesome birthday presents to show you to make up for the fact that otherwise there would not be a lot of content. Now, really quickly, I want to discuss something that I have termed faceless YouTubing, and this is relating to those of us like myself who never show their face on YouTube. Now, I am supported by many of you wonderful humans in the community. So when it comes to any complaints or moaning about faceless YouTubing, they don't really tend to matter to me. However, I have noticed it coming up a bit, murmurings in the community about what people may or may not think if you don't show your face. As to broach this topic really quickly, for those of you who don't know, I don't share my face due to work-related reasons. It's really as simple as that. That won't change in the future, and I'd rather be here doing it this way than doing nothing at all, and hopefully people understand that. Does it mean that I'm restricted on my content? Yes, a bit. Does it mean that I am hiding, less authentic, or don't have worthwhile opinions? No. At least in my humble opinion, no. And that's really as much energy as I'm willing to give to this topic at the moment. I do have an idea in the working, friends, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. I was thinking of creating a podcast playlist here on YouTube. I don't have the time or the inclination to create an actual separate podcast on a whole new social media platform. But I figured there's lots of things that I want to do. I want to respond and do my Q&A. I want to have some wonderful chats with you guys. And so what these podcasts would be is they wouldn't be anything to watch. It may be just a picture that stays the same throughout. I don't know, I haven't figured that bit out yet. And then it would be me talking. A bit like this, but you already know that I'm going to show you stuff in a minute. So it would be me talking, and instead of having to watch, you could have me on in the background or in your ear, and you could get on with other things. So multitasking bonus, yes please. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Please comment below and let me know what you think of that idea and whether it's worthwhile. As for the very few who feel like they can't connect to me because there's not a face here, I don't know what to say. But if you genuinely like my content and you just want to add that level of connection, then hop on over to my Instagram, cosmic.creeper, because I often show my face there. I host lives really quite frequently. Sometimes they're focused on myself and my face, sometimes they're not, they're focused on other things, but they are there, they are regularly. It is a platform in which I am happier and feel safer to share more of myself in those capacities, and you are always welcome to hop on over. Without any more rambling, let's get on to the favourites. First up, we've got Tarot of Pagan Cats. As I say, I have 3 decks to show you. I really didn't use a lot this month, but this beautiful kitty cat deck did come on holiday with me. There are several reasons. It's a very seamless, organic, natural read for me. As you can see, it's pretty Rider-Waite-Smith, so there has that simplicity to it, not because the Rider-Waite-Smith is simple, but because I know it very well. Then there's the cat element, which most of you know, I don't enjoy the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery very much for many reasons. And because I'm a cat lady, I really resonate. These cards really bring out the feels and get my emotions responsive as well as the psychological aspects. Also, on another note, it's a mass-produced deck. I do have a backup copy of this, and so it felt pretty safe. I wasn't comfortable enough to take an indie deck all the way to Rhodes. Now, one interesting thing happened. I pulled a card, from the Tarot del Fuego before I left for holiday, and I'd been on the fence about it in case something come up that I didn't like, because I am a nervous flyer despite my many years of travelling, and it came up with a 4 of Wands. Then when I took this deck out for the first time, which was on my flight to Greece, I did a 3 card reading, and 3 or 4, and the 4 of Wands came out again, and it kind of stalked me through the holiday. I only pulled cards twice on holiday, and then I pulled them again when I was on the plane journey back. So this deck has officially been to Greece now as well, and it was just a nice easy one. Next up is the 2nd edition of the Naked Heart Tarot by Gillian. I'm so psyched to get this deck. I know that you guys have had an absolute influx of this deck on YouTube because I've seen it. Gillian gifted this to me for review, and I feel so overwhelmed and honoured to be one of the people out of the selection that she picked to do so. I did a live unboxing on my Instagram because it was fun and it's nice to share those things with people. And then I figured in a couple of months, when I've really got to spend more time with this deck, especially looking at the animal elements and how I link that to the message and what that means to me, then I'll review it. You guys know I take my reviews pretty seriously, and I like to have spent enough time with the deck. It's gorgeous. The cardstock is beautiful. It's aesthetically pleasing in all of the ways that I love. I have quite a range of deck tastes anyway, but most of you guys won't be surprised that I'm showing you yet another animal deck. She's done an amazing job. I've followed the deck through most of its conception. I think that she's been really gracious throughout. So it really adds another level to me. Whether that sounds cheesy or not, that is genuinely how I am. If I don't vibe with the artist, I would find it much harder, sometimes impossible depending on what it was, to have a deck. So this is awesome. It has read beautifully. My first card pull is on my Instagram and I've used it a few times since. You will definitely be seeing a lot more of this deck, especially in September. And finally, this miniature beauty is called Medicine Cards Just for Today. You guys already know that I got this though, don't you? If you didn't know, I've done a video where I walk through it and share my excitement. Again, most of you know that the medicine cards are what I would consider to be my soul deck. I grew up with them. I love animal medicine. I covet my medicine cards, and this deck has been on my wish list for a very long time. It's a bit like gold dust. I was very lucky to get this at more than a reasonable price on eBay used, and I've been waiting for years. So to actually get this was just amazing. And more than that, because I have a long-term connection with animal medicine and working with this particular deck, this is a really handy travel one. I've taken it already to the local pond and nature spots that I like to visit, and it kind of just refreshes your memory on the entirety of what that animal medicine could be bringing. Of course you can add more to it, but I'm just so excited to have this deck. It was perfect timing. I ordered it the week before my birthday and it came a few days before holiday, so I'm so excited. That's all for decks, and we move on to a couple of books. This is Earth Medicine by Jamie Sams, who, if you didn't know, she was one of the creators of the medicine cards. She also created the Sacred Path cards, and I love Jamie Sams. You will come to know this if you don't already. This is a really, really interesting book. She utilises her culture and her experience and all of the wonderful things that she grew up around and the stories that she was told, and she weaves them into her own. So rather than verbatim, I'm really sorry if you can hear that aeroplane. All of a sudden the house started to rumble. It will go. And she shares them through her own words. And there's several ways that you can use this book. It's got a collection of poems and cultural teachings from, I would imagine, a collection of Native American tradition. She does talk about it eloquently and in depth in the beginning of the book, so I'm not doing it any favours whatsoever. And then you can see there's key words and explorations about those as well. And what you can actually do is you can use it following your own moon time cycle, which she explains how to do. So, I mean, you can read the book front to back if you want, but also you work out when it is and then you read a message a day, which is exactly what I've been doing, although I'm a couple of days behind because I had something pop up. So I will catch up on those days. But it's just such a beautiful book. It's, if you have any of her decks and you respect and are interested in the various tools and beliefs and workings that can be a part of various Native American traditions and the various tribes, remembering that there are many and that this is not a reflection of one or all. This is a really, really beautiful book. It has a real healing and grounding, earthy, medicinal vibe to it. It's the only way I can explain it, and it's been on my wish list for a while. My grandparents got it because they're super cool, so this was one of the presents that they got me for my birthday. Next up is Dream Thieves by Maggie. Her last name I'm not great at pronouncing. Maggie is the creator of the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, which is based upon the Raven Cycle books, and there's 4 of them. I was gifted them, all 4, by my wonderful friend Wendy, who was like, I've read them, they're freaking amazing, you're gonna love them, do you want them? Also very sweetly said that I reminded her of the main character in many aspects, which is really interesting because I've never read these books before. I hear so much about them and they were on my radar for sure, but they're completely new to me, so please don't spoil them because this is only the second of 4. I took this on holiday and completely ate it up. I wish I'd taken the 3rd because I finished it a couple of days early. It's an amazing book. I can't wait to review all 4 of them when I've finished, and then spend some time looking at the Raven's Prophecy Tarot again and seeing what connections I feel I can make or see and all of that fun stuff. For now, I don't have an amazing way of describing this book to people, especially being wary of not ruining it. But I think I've said this before. There's magical aspects of it, that real magic being kind of around and intrinsic without all of those muggles realising. But there's a deep psychological Donnie Darko kind of aspect that really, really comes out in the Dream Thieves. There is some darker themes in the book and I've really enjoyed it. I'm not the best book reviewer, I haven't got all the words, but I have now finished this book and it was amazing. I can't wait to start number 3. Now you can see here that this isn't the other kind of books that I was showing you. This is the book that comes with the Wild Unknown Spirit cloth. I cannot fit the cloth in this video, and if you haven't seen it by now, then there's YouTube videos, and if you type the Wild Unknown Spirit cloth in on any kind of browser or on Instagram, it will come up. It's a beautiful cloth. I got the black one and I managed to find it from a UK seller called, oh, let's have a look, I've got her little sticker here. There's 2 sellers that sell them in the UK still at the moment. One only has the white ones left and the other is called A Natural Magic. This is a little sticker that she sent with. And I also got this tumbler, which is Unakite. And I love Unakite so much. I think I've only got one other tumbler, so I was really glad to get this. I don't actually know if it was a gift with my package or whether my grandparents added it on as well. It kind of looked like a gift to me as it came in this little baggie, but I can't assume. So I got the spirit cloth. I have wanted it for such a long time. It's my first ever tarot specific cloth that actually has spreads and things on it. And I was a bit giddy. I just really, really wanted it and I'm really behind, and that's fine. This book that comes with it is actually really awesome. It takes you through the various keys and then it gives you more spreads. I love Kim's spreads. There's a lot on the Wild Unknown website which I enjoy and use. And whilst I'm not the biggest spread person, I like to create as I go. So I guess I do use spreads, but I'm terrible. I often don't write the questions down, and so they are spreads that come and go in the moment. But I love Kim's, and so I think that this is a really lovely little addition to go with the cloth, as well as the fact that it just looks pretty damn awesome. So that was another of my birthday presents from my grandparents, along with, which I haven't taken off, which has got loads of little elephants running around it. So I love silver, and I'm usually wearing lots of rings, although never in my videos for some reason. But these ones, since I've been on holiday, I've been sleeping in them. Now, mostly for my birthday was my holiday. That was my birthday present. We saved for it for a couple of years because we knew obviously that I would be turning 30, and for being 30 I wanted to have an experience, and so that was the main focus. But I was very blessed as always, and my partner did grab me this, which I had expressed a love for. Now, this necklace is from a woman in the UK and her husband. They're called Feral Strumpet. They are awesome. They are who I got my indie Spirit Cats oracle from. Then one day I saw this little necklace pop up, and you can see it's a little castle. It almost kind of reminds me of an acorn. And then it's got this here, and I can't remember for the life of me what this is, but it's the crystals to represent the moon, and so you've got the moon over this little castle or town. I fell in love with it, and immediately it reminded me of The Labyrinth. So the Labyrinth movie with David Bowie, at the end when they're in the building and Toby the baby's like crawling on stairs, and it's just a paradox of stairs where some are upside down and then all of a sudden they're the right way up. And then later someone said to me, it actually looks a bit like Hogwarts as well. So what is not to love about this beautiful necklace? I love it. They are fabulous. I recommend their jewellery highly, and they have some really unique ideas, so definitely go and check them out. I'll try and put links for stuff below so that you can easily check it out. Now, these couple of items here, I don't think that I've shown them to you, so I'm going to show them anyway just in case. They were a gift from a lovely woman who runs our local witchy shop, for want of a better term. I sold a load of decks and I traded a few and I gifted one, and she was the person who bought the ones that I was selling, all of them, which was really, really handy. The shop is local, she lives local, so she came to collect them, and she said that she'd had a really rubbish day. She'd had a really, really terrible customer, which isn't frequent in her shop at all, and she wanted to do something nice. It was really good timing. I had had the bad family news literally a couple of days before, I think, and she brought me these gifts. Now, you can't see all of the fabulous stuff that was on top of this because it's sunk into it since I started burning it, but this is one of her handmade candles. It smells divine. I believe she said that this particular blend, including the herbs that are involved and the essential oils, were for protection from negativity or releasing negativity or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's really, really apt timing. And we had a bit of a chat as to why. And also this gorgeous geode, which I forgot to ask what it is. I don't know, there must be different kinds of geodes. All I know is that it's absolutely beautiful, and it's on my other altar that you can't see. It looks a little bit more creamy yellowy in real life. This is making it look a little bit whiter, and then you can see it's just got all these fabulous little points in it. What a lovely thing for someone to do. I'm having a bad day, so I want to pass on some good vibes. Like, that is my kind of person, and I was very lucky to be the recipient, so I want to thank her so much. Next up, let's talk crystals, because it was about crystals this month. It wasn't about cards, and it wasn't just about my birthday. Then it was about crystals, and I got some awesome crystals. Now, let's talk these ones first. These ones I all selected by hand, and they were all from my partner. So I picked, he bought. which was really fun. I trying to remember. So these three were from a not a heart, body and mind, a mind, body and soul festival that we went to. Actually my stepmom and I, not him. He would have come, but it's not really his kind of thing. So first up is my Amazonite, I believe this is. I took the sticker off and forgot to write it down. I'm really drawn to all of the turquoises. I didn't have a piece of this, and when I picked it up I just absolutely fell in love. I think that I first saw this crystal on Tara's YouTube, so Kittens, Weights and Tarot. I'll link her below as well. I'm pretty sure that it was her, either way, and I really wanted a piece. It was a very, very cheap tumbler and it just felt good. That was the first piece that I went for. Next is this gorgeous piece of ammonite, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I have wanted a piece of this for absolutely ages. They don't seem to be massively readily available over here in the UK. They're not hard to get hold of, it's just there's much fewer and they do tend to be pretty damn expensive. This was so affordable and it's just such a beautiful piece. It's got so many geodes on it, like almost all the way round, and it fits in my hand perfectly. Beautiful colours. Feels really kind of, I don't know what the word is, historic I guess, for want of a better term. And yeah, really was excited when I saw this piece. Last up from this festival is a gorgeous black moonstone palm stone, which I had never seen black moonstone before. I didn't even know it existed. I am much newer to... I'm not newer to crystals, but I grew up kind of with amethyst literally everywhere around the house. That was my mum's crystal. That is one of my favourites. Rose quartz I know, clear quartz. More of what I would call the staple, and not staple crystals because you have to have them, but they just seem to be a lot more well known, a lot more readily available. So with some of the other stones, they're much newer to me still. And I saw this, it wasn't the biggest piece or anything like that. I very much go on what I'm drawn to, what feels good, especially with palm stones because I meditate with them. And I am wondering if this is going to play ball. This, look at that. It has some of the best shimmers. It's like a freaking mermaid. It's got like mermaid scales on both sides. Oh, there we are. That's not bad going for this terrible phone camera. It is beautiful. And I literally grasped onto it like Gollum. And then it was like, it's the precious. I must not let it go. So that was my last crystal from that festival. The next two crystals are from a wonderful shop in London called Buddha on a Bicycle, which is my absolute favourite shop in London. It's got a really homely, friendly, down-to-earth vibe. They're way more approachable than any other shop that I've been in like that. They're all very knowledgeable. It's very chilled out in there, and I regularly go in there even if I can't get anything. I love them. But we were crystal shopping for my birthday in particular on this day. And this is a beautiful carnelian palm stone, which again I really wanted. Ever since I've said that, loads of people are like, yep, you're a Leo, you know, you've got lots of fire in your chart, that is a you kind of stone. I hadn't thought of that, but yes, this is a me kind of stone. And again, this one is very unique to at least what I've seen before because it's got this geode opening like a little smile all the way round. And I just thought that that was pretty special. And then finally this, which was on my wish list as well for a while, Septarine. Or is it something completely different? There's always a possibility with me and my foggy brain, but I love this, and it does give me that really grounding reptilian egg kind of vibe anyway. And this is a really interesting one. So it's got all of the colour and kind of pattern that usually dashes through them on the top. And then it's got the bit that reminds me of kind of gravel and earth at the bottom. And the other day, after I had spent a lot of time with it, I noticed it's got this fantastic, it's really hard to get you to see, it's got this little star on it. It's literally a perfect star. Looks like it's a little clip art stamp that someone's put on there. So all in all, a pretty cool piece. Now this next bit is a clear quartz. As you can see, it's pretty damn clear too. It does have some interesting inclusions, and I actually bought this in Greece. It was so busy, you guys. Now, after I bought it, because it was very quick, we were in a rush, we were getting ready to leave, and I had been looking at all of these quartzes for ages, and it was like, no, you need to pick one. So I had some birthday money and I picked it, and then when I got home, I kind of had a weird feeling as I was looking at it that it might not be real. You know, people who sell crystal jewellery or sell crystals for a living, they might have other ways of being able to identify it. I'm not going to go out and buy something to find out. I have since been told try and scratch the bottom with clear quartz, and if it scratches easy, it's glass. I'm sure that's what they told me. Anyway, at the time I did it and it didn't scratch at all. So now I'm really confused. My partner said, stop ruining it, just enjoy it. But I kind of really want to know. I will probably take it to a crystal shop and ask them, just because I want to know. I will still keep it. It's still got memories, but I'm pretty curious now. And this final piece was a birthday gift from one of my lovely friends, Louise. And this is a wolf, as you can see. It's my first ever carved crystal. I think I probably had one when I was little from jade and have since not got it for whatever reason. But yes, as an adult. And this is black tourmaline, which I love. I have never seen black tourmaline polished. The really interesting thing is that she didn't know when she bought this that I was getting the Naked Heart Tarot, and it goes perfectly. I have paired them up. Obviously Gillian's got the Howling Wolves on the front, and it just feels like a really good match. So I am in love with this. I am so glad. What a cool birthday present. The last thing that I want to show you that I nearly forgot. These are pebbles, stones, rocks, whatever you want to call them, from the beach that was backing our hotel. I did speak to people. I only took a couple, and everyone was completely fine with that. They just are so, so, so beautiful. And so I simply grabbed a couple, one for myself and a couple for two friends of mine. They're just fascinating. They've got all this rock, but then they come together with, it does look really crystallised, and there are different variations in terms of lightness and darkness. There were other pebbles, but it was just something about this one that these magical crystal-like veins running through them really drew my eye in. And as I say, I wanted to be respectful. I don't want to be nicking things from other people's land unnecessarily or being greedy. So I grabbed myself this larger one, and you can see I got a couple of little bits for friends. They are pretty cool, right? When I was in Greece, we obviously bought some little knickknacks, and we had a bit of a kitty cat theme going on. It's interesting because Greece hasn't been known to be the best place for cats, but over the years they've actually taken some really great steps. There's now some cat protection and rescue places out there. Of course, I donated to them. Our hotel was really good to cats as well. I'm also going to share a link where you can adopt cats from Greece and, you know, give them a good home over here or wherever you are if you want to. This is a beautiful kitty cat keyring, and then it's got the, is this called the evil eye? It's believed to protect you and ward off evil you know, evilness. I am not going to profess to be the most knowledgeable about it, but I've always had a piece on a key ring, which actually broke a few months ago. So it was perfect timing because it had had its lifespan. And I went out and got myself this little piece, which my Buddha's holding at the moment. So I need to pop that on some keys. But we got this for the fridge because it says Rhodes, and obviously it reminds us of Zuri and the wonderful cats that we met out there. I got my brother a little wooden instrument, and the other brother wanted sweets because he's 17, and apparently that's all that teenager wanted. Then we got these, which I still have the sticker on the bottom because it keeps them standing together, although they still stand. They're basically 3 little pieces, but we loved them. My partner really thought that they were great. He picked this style in particular because we kind of said, it's him, it's me, it's our little Zuripus. It's kind of gaudy and cute at the same time. It's really lightweight. It's made out of a very porous wood, so it weighs way less than this. It even weighs less than the magnet, and it's painted, and it's gone on my altar because a crazy cat lady who only has one actual cat needs wooden cats around the house. We got my partner's mum and myself both one of these because they were just fascinating, and the shop who was selling them, we particularly really loved the woman who was running it, and she was selling a lot of natural products as well. Now, for those who are worried, I thought this was leather as well when I looked at it from afar, but it's actually like a wood or a resin, which is really cool, and they've made it look like leaves. So as I say, my mother-in-law's got one and I've got one, and it's just a little coin purse. It's nice to support the local shops out there and the smaller shops, and especially when you get talking to them and you like them. And this, I mean, it just felt like they were so underpriced as well. So I got this. The next 2 pieces I'm going to show you don't feel very Greek-like. This is a baggie with a drawstring and a hangy bit that I've chucked. At the moment, my Wildwood Tarot is in here. That may change, I don't know, but I really wanted it. But it doesn't remind me of Greece. It actually reminds me of the sort of things that I would see when I travelled to Kenya or when I travelled to India. But I'm not going to Kenya and I'm not going to India anytime soon. So I saw these, and again they were from that same woman at that shop, so I got one of these because I knew that it would house something tarot-like. And finally we have this instrument, which is fascinating. I have seen them before, and as far as I'm aware they did originate in Africa, and as you can see the artwork is... It reminds me of the dot artwork, which is very Aboriginal. Also, you would see that in Australia and places like that. So this instrument is known under various different names, and I believe one of them is kalimba. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Otherwise known as a thumb piano and things like that. It's coconut, wood, and then it's painted, and it has these little metal bits, and providing that they are glued down properly and then held in place, they sound amazing. If they loosen up, if you've ever got one, if you just glue it back down, because it loses its tune otherwise, and I did try a few out there and the noises weren't nice when they weren't done. So I love instruments, I really do, and this was just one of those things that I was having a little play on in the shop and playing the music, and my partner was like, we're getting it, that's super cool, I can't play it but you can play it, so we'll get that as well. So this is the final piece, as well as the key ring that my partner got, which obviously he has on his keys. There you have it, guys. That is my favourites, my musings on August, my catch up with you guys, and thank you for watching. I really hope to hear your thoughts on my YouTube podcast idea, and also I'd love to know how your August was. I'm always really interested, and I really enjoy it when the community gets involved with me and I hear from you guys and I get to catch up. So let me know what's up in the comments, and until next time, bye for now.